When you hear the words Grade 1 listed building or UNESCO World Heritage Site, you'll probably imagine an 800-year-old cathedral or the remains of an ancient Babylonian temple. But this 76-metre wide steel lattice 70-year-old scientific instrument has the same highest category degree of protection and national interest as Westminster Abbey and Stonehenge. This is the Lovell Telescope at Jodrell Bank Observatory. At time of completion, it was the largest steerable dish radio telescope in the world. I know that sounds oddly specific, but a radio telescope just means that it captures radio waves as they travel through space, and then they hit that big dish, and then the data is collected and fed into a computer and analysed. So quite different to a telescope that you actually look through and in relative real time see visible light, magnified stars, planets, nebula, galaxies. And steerable means exactly what you think it means. Lovell can pivot on its axis and also rotate and point to any spot in the sky and follow one specific point as the Earth spins under the backdrop of the universe. There are much bigger radio telescopes around the world. The largest is the 500-metre aperture spherical telescope in China, but that's stationary. Its dish panels can tilt a little bit, given it some tracking capability, but it doesn't have the total freedom that Lovell has. And since this was completed in 1957, the Effelsberg telescope in Germany and the Green Bank telescope in West Virginia have overtaken Lovell. Both are about 100 meters in diameter, but we still have the third largest steerable radio telescope in the world. What can never be taken away is the history. The Lovell Telescope and other instruments here at Jodrell Bank were an integral part of the space race. One of the most important technological milestones that humanity has ever achieved, the first artificial satellite, occurred on the 4th of October 1957 when the Soviet Union successfully launched Sputnik 1. This 80-kilogram ball of metal orbited the Earth every 98 minutes for 92 days. The actual transmission signal from Sputnik itself, those ethereal beeps from space, could be picked up on a normal household radio. But this was the only telescope in the world that could consistently track the booster rocket using a modified radar system. The Soviets did have limited monitoring, but to the boffins at NASA, what Lovell illustrated was a big deal. We were entering the age of the intercontinental ballistic missile, and having a tool that could accurately track your enemy's hardware in space meant that the USA could at least hang on to the Soviet Union, who had taken the lead in the Cold War. Then we have the race to the moon. Lovell could track probes sent by the United States and the Soviet Union, and was the only telescope in the world that could gather data that far out in space. On the 26th of June 1960, it received a signal from Pioneer 5, which was a mere 22.5 million miles away. As the race to actually put a man on the moon hotted up, Lovell monitored the Soviet lunar robotic probes, the slingshot around the moon, the unmanned moon crash landing, and in February 1966, the first ever soft landing on the moon, and that was by the Soviet Luna 9. However, Lovell did not track the actual main event, the first successful manned landing on the moon, you know, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, because it was tracking the Soviet craft Luna 15, which was in lunar orbit at the same time as Apollo 11. The landing was actually tracked by a different 50-foot telescope here at Jodrell Bank, which has since been replaced with another telescope.
Hang on, they were both at the moon at the same time?
Yeah, so you've got both spaceships orbiting the moon at the same time. Apollo 11 is the American, and that's manned. So that's got Collins, Armstrong and Aldrin. And the Soviet, which is Luna 15, is a robotic craft, nobody on board. The Eagle lander comes out of the main craft and comes down to the moon with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, and they land on the surface. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And now the Soviets have effectively lost the space race. They can only come second. So their plan was to get this craft, which is what it was designed for, and soft land on the moon and collect some moon rocks and then take off and beat the Americans back to Earth. So although the Soviets were never going to be the first people to land on the moon, they could at least be the very first to bring some moon rocks back to Earth. Some sort of victory. But Luna 15 malfunctioned and crashed on the moon while Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were still there, walking on the moon. It was about 350 miles away, but still. And Lovell tracked all of that. Over the decades, and to this very day, there are scientists right now, today, working in those control towers. The Lovell Telescope has been instrumental in some of the most amazing and important cosmological discoveries that we've ever made. It's discovered over 100 pulsars, measured the rate of expansion of the universe, bounced messages off the moon, found a galaxy that appears to be made entirely from dark matter, detected gravitational lensing, was on nuke watch during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and has double-checked other telescopes' claims that they found evidence of alien life. And you can visit the facility, stand right next to it, and if you're very lucky, you may even see it move. Did it move?
No.
Did it move?
No.
How about now? If you would like to support what we do here, you can use Buy Me a Coffee, which is an online tipping service. You can visit the merch store, or you can join our Patreon, where you can watch all of our videos ad-free and a week early.